Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, and with me this time around, I'm pausing because I have to try to keep a straight face. With me this time around is my cousin, Juliet Poyser, and Sharmaine Tapper, who wants me to introduce her as a concerned citizen. Does that work for you, Bob?
It works.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So what we'll be talking about for a bit is how can the solution mindset be encouraged to foster healthy relationships? But before you answer that question, what in your mind is the solution mindset? For somebody saying, that sounds heavy, what does that mean for both of you?
Well, I'll start by saying, for me, the solution mindset is the way you approach a problem. So you're looking at a particular issue that you're going through, and one of your mindset could be just, woe is me. Or it could be, all right, here's the problem. What am I going to do about it? So for me, that's a solution mindset where you don't just look at the problem and just think of, you know how horrible the situation is, but you try to say, I usually say to myself when I'm going through something, this is a test. This is only a test. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, just to add to that, words that come to mind would be a positive outlook, resilience, grit. Those kinds of terms come to my mind when I think about that positive solution mindset, because you're entering a situation, recognizing that all is not well, but you're not going to be there criticizing. The primary aim is to identify a solution. And there could be multiple solutions.
Okay.
But to identify a way out, not about griping or criticizing, as you've indicated before.
Yes.
But it's to get something out of it where everybody, if not it is at a win-win position.
Okay. So how can we then use this sort of approach then to foster healthy relationships? And I'm throwing this out in terms of just in general, but if you think of a particular type of relationship, just indicate.
Well, to be honest, you can't have a healthy relationship without that kind of mindset. If there's anything else, then it's not going to be a good relationship. Okay. Because what we know about relationships is that whether business or social or intimate, is that there will always be challenges. There's always going to be a conflict. There's always going to be a problem. But if you approach this with the intent of fixing it, of identifying a solution, then you're definitely onto a relationship that's going to be growing. Let's think about it. In nature, it doesn't rain every day. The reality is we don't want it to rain every day. We have to have sunny days and rainy days in order for there to be a healthy plant. Similarly, with a relationship, you want to have and expect those rainy days and those sunny days.
Okay.
Yes. And my way of looking at it is when you come up on whatever that situation is, sometimes you're too down to even think about to even have the mindset of a solution. But sometimes if you take a step back and you say, well, what if my friend came to me with this problem? What would I say to that friend? So you have to kind of take yourself out of the situation sometimes to even think of a solution, because it could just drive you crazy, whatever it is you're going through. And you have to just step back. For me, one of the things that helps me to take a step back is to actually just get on my knees and pray about it.
Yes.
And it's something that a lot of people don't think about doing. But I happen to believe there's a higher being. But even if you don't happen to believe that, the whole concept of prayer works.
Yes.
Because you're taking yourself out of the situation, and you're looking at it. You have now a new perspective. But I just happen to believe that it really works, and that there is somebody I'm talking to, and it really does help me to resolve some of the issues. But in a relationship, I find that if you can get to the point where, if it's a marriage relationship,
Okay.
where the two of you are praying about the solution together, I think the growth that you get just in your relationship, just because you happen to be praying together, it's just totally amazing. Because I'm going through that right now, and I think the idea that we both get up at 6 and 10 p.m. and we're both praying about issues that we're both facing is making a big difference in our interpersonal relationship.
It's a nice segue, because my question to both of you would be, this fix-it approach, do you think this applies to all types of relationships?
I'm going to start by saying no.
Okay.
Because I've certainly been in relationships where I wanted to share what I was going through, and then the person wanted to fix it. And I just wanted them to listen. I didn't and you do. I mean, I have friends, and if you talk to them about anything, they don't even let you finish sharing your problem. They're already thinking about solutions. They're not even really actively listening. They're already thinking about solutions to everything you're saying. And sometimes you just need somebody to listen. And so I think, no, you have to be a very perceptive person to know the difference.
Okay.
Well, in situations like that, I think it's okay to just truly say, hey, I want you to listen. And that's my aim. So you're entering into, once again, for a healthy relationship, the key thing is communication.
Yes.
So if I'm able to say to you, to tell you exactly what my needs are, then I'm hoping you'll be able to understand and then meet that need. So in addition to having resilience, to having that determination to, if there's a problem, work towards fixing it, that has to be communicated. Just looking at, based on what you've just said, that you're working, there's a current problem and you're both working on it with an aim to solve it. I think it's important for us to recognize that the solution may not be what we foresee, what we think. The solution can simply be, hey, we're going to agree to disagree on this. And that's just where it is.
Yes.
But many times we enter into these situations and we're saying, okay, it must be, this is the one way. This is the only way, or probably two other ways for us to resolve this.
Right.
But sometimes a solution is simply, I'm going to hold my position and my view, and you hold yours. And we're both going to tolerate each other's position.
Yes. And I mean, and honestly, even though I just told you about my situation where we're praying together, I'm holding to my grounds because I believe that that's where God is leading me. And I'm waiting for God to lead him my way.
I like that term, waiting. And I like what you just said, waiting for God to lead him your way.
Your way. Okay. Now, just to be clear, just a clarification. So is it then that it's you said not for all relationships? So it's not, is it that you could say, okay, not for friendships, not for marriage relationships, or is it that you're saying it depends on the relationship itself and that you just have to be very perceptive?
I want to say it's not even about the particular relationship, it's about the particular circumstance and situation.
Okay.
So there may be situations where, yes, you will want to help out with a solution. And there may be sometimes when you just need to listen.
Okay.
You know, especially if you're if it's a third party involved in a discussion.
Okay.
If it's a wife talking to a girlfriend about her husband, you know, maybe it'd be nice if she just listened. You know, and non-judgmentally too, so that we don't want when your girlfriend meets your husband, she's like, You know,
Yeah.
you want to have a friend that can hear you out and still meet your husband, who you talk to her about, and say, well, hello, Mr. So and so, how are you doing? And just be okay, because she knows you're venting. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing simply because I remembered something.
Do tell.
The reality is, when we go ahead and share the bad instances that we're having, or incidents that we're having with our spouse or partner, I think it's important to provide update.
Oh, yeah.
So after you fixed it,
Yes.
and after you've gone to your girlfriend and you've vented, when it's fixed, let her know. So she will be aware of where you are now, kind of thing. But it's interesting that you should mention that, because counsel tells us that we should be careful
Yes.
about who we talk to. So if it is that we're venting to, because one word, one disrespectful or harsh statement about a family member, whether your partner, your child, whatever it is, whoever it is, can serve as a block for future missionary work, for future evangelism with this person, because you were so angry and you said something about somebody that you really loved and that you're very close to. So I'm just saying, you want to be careful who you share your thoughts with when you're going
I'm
through
just
this.
sensing like this is from personal experience, but you know.
Yeah, I wanted to hear the story behind it, but alas.
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna hear.
But today, another day.
But I do want to add to that when I talk, I have some really good friends, and the Bible says a prayer for a righteous man availeth much. So I do have friends that when I do share with them, they're the kind of people that say, well, let's pray about
Let's
it.
pray. Okay.
And so and they're strong people, and they're supportive. And so, you can't share these things with everybody.
No.
Obviously, you have to pick and choose. And so it's really good. And the Bible talks about surrounding yourself with good counsel. Yes.
Right.
So there is a place for that. And, when you read Job, I mean, need I say more? I mean, he spent an entire book complaining to his friends. I don't think they were supportive. I don't think his wife was very supportive, but there was the need for him
To vent.
Because he was going through all of this. I don't know what happened in the end to his wife. I wasn't really sure about that. I know he had more children, but I was wondering if it was with her or not. No, but it was because she wasn't very supportive. But there is that need. I mean, there were chapters after chapters where he sat and talked to his friends. I mean, I don't think they were, that they were all great friends, but there is that need that we have. I mean, I'm sure he prayed too, but he also vented. Yes.
For somebody who's listening and saying, ladies, it's all well and good, but I'm not sure that I am quite there yet to have that approach. What would you say to somebody who's saying, I need to learn to try to have that positive approach, that solution mindset to my relationships? What would be your advice?
Well, my advice would be for that person to step back and put themselves in that chair where they're the ones counseling somebody. And because sometimes you're too involved to look at things objectively. So you just take a step back, because we all love to give counsel to people. We think like if you're having a problem, you come to me, I'll help you. And yet still when we're going through it, we can't see clearly because we're in the midst of it.
Yes.
And so, but if you step back and you say, well, if I was counseling a couple going through this, what would I tell them? So that helps you to focus on what to do, because we probably could solve it. And the other thing is, of course, I'm going to go back to prayer, because that gives you a chance to step back, rehearse, and repeat what you're going through, and just ask an outside power to help you with it. So those are mine.
Okay, which means I must give you something.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm thinking, if it is that you're in this relationship, whether business or personal, and you're saying, I can't quite get to that solution mindset, I think, yes, you should step back and just check where you are. Probably you really were not invested in that relationship in the first place.
Wow.
And that's okay. I think it's good. Stop, see, where am I? Because who really wants to be in a relationship, business or otherwise, and it's not working?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not successful. I don't think anybody wakes up and say, oh, I'm going to try this relationship today, and I really want to see how bad it can be. Ultimately, we really want it to be successful.
Yeah.
So probably you're not fully vested into this relationship. And this is something for you to just stop and take a look. Now, if it is that you're married to someone and they're really not vested at that time, because that's the thing. You could be trying to fix something, but nobody's thinking about the other party. Do they really want it to be fixed? Wow. Probably not.
You can tell that I'm about to have these ladies again. But I am going to stop her right there, because we spoke about how can the solution mindset be encouraged to foster healthy relationships. And I am sure that as we're wrapping up and we're winding down, this is Making It Last, where it's all about giving you tips to have better relationships. I am sure that Madam Poyser and Madam Tapper gave you some things to think about. So this is Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.